I now call the Crosby Township Board of Trustees regular meeting to order for October 14th, 2024. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Lohman.
Here.
Mr. Hyab. Here. And Mr. Heiss, who I note not to be present.
Approval of the minutes for the regular meeting held September 9th, 2024. With one change.
I was alerted before we went on the record of an error. There was a motion for the provision of a dumpster at the last meeting that was moved by Mr. Hyab, and I mistakenly wrote Mr. Heiss. The second was actually by Mr. Lohman. Mr. Heiss, who's not here, had alerted us to that, so I will make that correction.
I move that we approve the minutes as corrected.
Roll call.
You got a second?
Oh, sorry. Second. Your microphone.
Oh.
Lohman.
Yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
I'm not used to seconding things there. Approval to pay the bills has have been presented over the past month.
So move.
Second.
Lohman.
Yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
Correspondence. Me. West Jad meeting was held the 10th, last Thursday. The run volume is growing with less help, especially summer, but winter usually is better staffed. They're kind of waiting until winter to see how it settles out because there's a lot of vacations and stuff in the summer. They're financially sound. It was a pretty quick meeting. I attended a special meeting. Alan was there with members of zoning, and then like 4 or 5 people from Great Parks over the concerns for that new construction on New Haven Road. There's an OTA webinar, is October 22nd for trustees. Hamilton County Local Emergency Management and Homeland Security Committee meeting is October 21st at 4 p.m.
21st,
Yes.
10/21 at 4 p.m.
The Harrison Chamber of Commerce is having a meet and greet with Warren Davidson October 30th at new brewery, that Hearth Brewery, at 5 p.m.
Hold on a second. All right, meet and greet.
With Warren Congressman Warren
Davidson at Hearth Brewing. When?
October 30th at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
And Fernald has weekly programs. That's all I have. Dennis?
About the only thing I have to add to it is correspondence from the new firehouse addition. The Ohio EPA is mandating that we put in a mound system for the sewage. We can't upgrade the current system that's there, so they have to take and get the specs drawn up for that, for it to be approved. And then Hamilton County Building Department, the the firehouse is in the 100-year floodplain, and they're requiring us to flood-proof the addition and their stipulations, so it's being sent to engineering, and that's what's holding up our construction, is those two items. So once we have, I think the mound system is going to come in around $65,000, and I don't know what the flood proofing is going to, I haven't seen an estimate on it yet. So other than that, that's pretty much all I have.
All right, thanks. Okay, Sheriff, Lieutenant DePaoli.
All right, good evening, everybody. Lieutenant Jeremy DePaoli with the Hamilton County Sheriff's with the report for September of 2024 for Crosby Township. I am happy to report, I'll be very brief, there is nothing of major significance to the community. The only two criminal reports we had were both household family matters. It was one report of an endangered child. Reportee advised that while bathing her 9-year-old daughter, she observed bruising and marks all over the child's body. The youth stated that her father had struck her and slapped her head against the wall while she was on a custodial visit. That one is still being looked at by Child Protective Services and still under investigation. Second one was a domestic violence incident on the 25th of September. Victim advised while playing cards at his residence with his family, his adult son became agitated. They had a little argument, and then the adult son suspect physically assaulted his father, causing injury to the abdomen and a laceration to the head. Junior was transported to the Justice Center by the sheriffs. Still falls under domestic violence, even though that's father and son, household members. Non-criminal reports, there was one found property. I think that was a handful of shell casings and rounds recovered from within somebody's house. It was not a result of being shot at. It was them turning over some old ammunition. Person injured, I think a gentleman fell off his side-by-side while out doing some farming, and so that was that. Very brief. I think that's a good month. I'll take it. Criminal investigations, the one case that was assigned, I already discussed. That case has not been closed yet. DVERT, are you all familiar with DVERT, what the DVERT program is? Has that been explained to anybody? No? DVERT is the Domestic Violence Emergency Response Team. So,
Oh, yeah, that was explained.
okay.
Lieutenant Stuckey.
Yeah, Lieutenant Stuckey's.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Is that is that just D-I-V-E-R-T?
It's the acronym is DVERT. That's the bottom of this page here. DVERT, Domestic Violence Emergency Response Team. So again, real quick, how that occurs. If we have an offense of domestic violence, it's geared towards, shall we say, intimate couples, romantic, people who've had romantic liaisons, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife type stuff. That situation where it was father and son does not really apply, generally. Sometimes we have other family issues where if we do have, it's run by women helping women. So if we do have another instance where particularly a woman is in need of support from the organization, we can reach out even if it does not technically fall under domestic violence. So that's something for everybody in the community to be aware of, that resource is available. If it's just a woman who's fallen on hard times, having trouble with any domestic partner or anything of that nature. So I can get you more information on that. Again, for the next meeting, I'll provide some more on that. Anyway, no responses for the month of September. Traffic incidents, there were 5 total crashes, 0 OVI arrests. Dispatch report, 111 calls for service during the month of September, and 70 non-billable details, which would be any time that one of our guys put themselves out on the situation, an investigation, a follow-up, traffic stops, something of that nature. So, does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts?
I guess the only thing I have is when we signed the contract with the sheriff's department for a full-time detail, do we have a full-time detail out here all the time between us and Harrison? Or hasn't that been initiated because Harrison is sliding their heels on that?
That is what I thought I heard some time ago. I'll work on getting an update on that.
Yeah, if you could, that'd be interesting.
I'm not aware if that was still in the works, but
I don't think Whitewater signed up either.
Yeah.
if you
well,
recall, up until August, I was over in Lincoln Heights and spending my time over in the Mill Creek Valley, so there were a lot of things out here I was not totally in the loop on. But I'll try to get an answer on that one.
And then,
So the idea was three patrols spread across the 3 western townships, and it was basically a negotiated amount where the townships gradually, over a period of, was it 3 or 5 years,
yeah, 3
Three-year contract.
And then
would work its way up to kind of a full freight charge to help the
Okay.
townships in their budgeting processes. And, I mean, we were generally agreeable with it. That, just, since you weren't here, that's
Sure.
the general idea. We would be definitely interested in the status of the other townships on that, and whether those patrols have initiated as were planned.
Right, I mean, as it is presently set up, there's 3 cars running west of the river total.
Well, the
But they're all
difference was
Blood.
back before this agreement, there were always patrols designated, but because of the fact that none of those townships were actually paying for those patrols, if there was really anybody that was off, any extra help needed somewhere else, transport duty, or, I mean, they would take the people off the road that were here. Whereas under the contract, in theory, those patrols would be very much designated.
Correct.
Obviously, except for extreme emergencies, but
Right.
that's why it's of interest to the trustees.
You know, you're discussing the difference between a contract car and what we would refer to as a county car,
Yeah.
correct? Right. The contract car, Miami Township has one, and other than, like you said, mutual aid, or that vehicle, or that car needs to go out of the township, it remains in the township. Sycamore, Anderson, Sims Township,
Right.
many of the eastern townships have contracts, so. Yeah, I'll double check on that. I hadn't heard anything in a while, so I kind of thought maybe that was dead, but we'll see what I can find out.
First of the year. The only other thing I have is traffic on New Haven Road seems to be picking up speed. And there's usually 2 or 3 of them that are habitual. There's a couple Mustangs that come up over that hill, and they like to test their oats. And then there's a Cadillac coupe that has got glass packs on it or something, but he likes to flex his muscle. And but they tend to, I know they're going in excess of 50 mile an hour.
Cadillac, Mustang, newer Mustang, older Mustang,
Newer Mustangs,
Cadillac.
probably
coupe.
somebody that just bought them and they think they rev them up and like to hear that cackle.
The Cadillac coupe, that sounds like something out of an old Chuck Berry record. You got a time frame, time of the day, or is this happening all hours?
Weekends in the evening, most of the time it's in the evening, people coming home from work.
You
Most
said
of the
on,
time, you know, when I notice it, the cars have their lights on, so it's getting 7 o'clock, mainly on the weekend, I'm thinking.
okay.
So that's what I have.
You said on New Haven, any particular area on New Haven?
Yeah, they're just right from Fernald to Crosby Road.
Roger that. Any other concerns, questions? Anybody?
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to excuse myself. Everybody have a good night.
You too. Be careful. Public at large, did you want to talk?
Well, I was just wondering,
If you do, just go up there and then say your name and wait, hold on a second until Matt's ready. Just say your, at the microphone, just say your name and your address, but wait, hold on a second.
sure.
Sorry about that.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Mark Volley, 11749 Oxford Road,
Hi, Mark, how do you spell your last name?
Volle,
Okay, and what was your address again?
11749 Oxford Road.
Okay, thank you.
I was just here to ask about, they had canceled, I guess because of the heat, the one meeting about the seed farm and, you know, making decisions about that. I just thought maybe you guys were going to be discussing that tonight. Or is that still up in the air, or?
Well, they canceled the meeting basically because they didn't need to do it.
Oh.
Alan, you can
Yeah,
address.
the meeting was canceled because the attorney for Great Parks made us aware of some case law from the Ohio Supreme Court which holds that governmental entities such as Great Parks are to make a reasonable effort to comply with the local zoning, but you can't enforce the zoning resolution against them.
I see.
So if their efforts are not reasonable, it's on the township's responsibility to pursue some action if they feel that what the going forward with is not reasonable. And we're gonna, I think, when Rick comes in for the zoning, there might be a little more discussion about that, because there was a meeting on the 12th of September. And there's been a few other issues that have popped up in the interim. So it's kind of, I would say at this point, it's a little unsettled. But I think that, you know, the position of Great Parks is that, and I'd have to agree with him, the case law supports the position that, you know, we can't go through our normal zoning routine with them because of who they are.
Okay. Did they already start doing?
They have. From what I hear, they have started on some
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And there have been some additional applications for certain things that have been presented to Rick that he might be able to discuss later at the meeting.
If I can, there was a meeting between Crosby Township Fire Department and Hamilton County Building Department, and I think Rick can speak more on that, what's going on. The county's not real happy with what's going on.
I heard that too, so good. So Rick will speak to that? Okay. You might want to wait until Rick gets here for the zoning meeting. He might have a little more information.
Is that tonight or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Just
okay.
later on.
just later on.
Did you have concerns, or you just want to know what's going on?
Well, I have concerns, but I wanted to know what was going on. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Guess nobody else from public. Legal, Alan?
I have nothing more to add at this point. I might have a little more comment when Rick gives the zoning report.
Thank you. Maintenance, Jim?
Yeah, we just been mowing, it kind of slowed down, then we watering trees and plants. We started getting ready for snow, trying to find out you know, everything was taken off and trying to figure out where everything's at, making sure everything works before we can get caught. So we've been did that today. Organized the shop. We sprayed the front for dandelions and weeds. So we can't plant grass for 30 days. So I figured we'll just wait till spring and get somebody to slit seed all that.
You mean out where the new trees are in there?
Yeah, out there where it always looks so bad. So they are dying. We cleaned up after a storm, went through, rode around, picked up anything that was on the road, and then we had the problem here at the building where the doors were leaking. So we took that light off above this door here and outside and caulked all that in there. If it was for that, Dennis seen this screw was leaking up there in that doorway.
Yeah.
See if that does it. And we caulked all the way around the doors, sills and everything, and then same thing on this one here. And that just everyday mowing and trimming and stuff. And the only thing that we'll put on your desk is about this canopy thing, like for this John the Gator. It's just a windshield in the top for it, so when you're running around in the cold, you ain't.
But those guys are getting soft after 2 years of
Well, you
running
don't
around with
have
the
a
gator
top
open.
on it, you know, it's just like, I can't believe it. Never got a top on it from the beginning. But we were gonna put it on. I asked Brian down at Bud Herbert, and he said we're capable of putting that on ourselves.
So is it it's not a John Deere add-on, but another company's add-on?
Well, it's from John Deere to work on that.
Okay,
This is from John Deere.
okay.
It's supposed to go.
So it's a John Deere attachment?
Yeah, it goes on there.
Okay.
There's no doors or nothing, it's just a
Windshield? and
windshield roof.
A roof?
Yeah, it's not a ROPS or nothing like that for rollover, it's just mainly keep the sun from beating on you, and the windshield if it's raining, or keep it from driving into the rain.
So what was the price on that? I didn't get that.
He
when I
said
came.
roughly, when we was down there getting something else, he said roughly 12 or 1,300.
I'll take and move that we allot no more than $1,300 for,
There might be tax on that.
No,
there's no tax,
There
That's
won't
right,
be
no
tax.
I
So-
gotta get used to that.
for a new enclosure for the gator.
I'll second it. Roll call.
Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
And another thing about that top is that we can put mirrors somehow on that. There's nowhere to put a mirror, with nothing there to mount it to. So you can look beside you or behind you when you're going someplace.
Maybe after you get it on, maybe you could get a center mirror
Yeah,
over
something,
top, like a visor mirror.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Because I can't remember if it was this month or last month, but I met with Matt Harper from the county, and he gave me permission to fill the ditch in front of the Shaker Cemetery. It's got a
Right.
ditch in there, and it's water, but it's at the top of the hill, so the water's gonna go both ways anyway. So we can pull in there and park, because now they park down at the Shaker building, and then they drive the mowers down from there. So this way we could pull off the side of the road there and be able to mow and not have to do that.
So it's right along the road?
Yeah, it's right around the road. We don't need no pipe or nothing. We can just fill it in.
Oh.
He suggests just put some kind of gravel or bank run or something in there first, and then putting our dirt and planting. It can't be gravel. It has to be grass. We can't make a parking lot.
So it has to be grass on top.
Yeah, because everybody would be using it as a parking lot.
Right.
At nighttime. So we gotta make it grass. So he gave me permission to do that when we get a chance.
Well, you feel that the fill material's gonna be over $1,000
No, because I'm hoping I can get it for free.
free? Well, then I I don't have a problem with you. If you got the okay from the county, that'd be the
Yeah,
main
that's the main thing.
Go ahead, because I know they have to, there's no place to park to unload the mowers right
Yeah,
there.
and if you do get in there, and normally in the spring and everything, when you're
It's
doing
wet.
it, it's just a swamp in there.
Right.
So we could fill that in and make that a lot nicer and easier to do.
Is it on the same side as the cemetery or across?
Same side, it's right, to go into the cemetery, you gotta go off the road and go like this.
Oh,
and go
okay.
up. It's not a ditch, it's a swale.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was a drainage ditch. I was
No.
thinking, I don't know how the county would let you do that.
No, because it's right on top of the hill.
Oh,
so
okay.
You can make the water go both ways from
Right.
there.
What about the heat exchangers?
Oh, heat exchangers.
You shouldn't have said anything.
2 units, 2 of the rooftop units are bad. The heat exchangers are bad, and they shut the gas off to them when they did their checkup on everything a couple weeks ago, 10 days ago. And one's a 3-ton unit, one's a 7-ton unit, 7.5-ton unit. And the exchangers are $3,500 for the 3-ton, $4,500 for the 7-ton. And the new units, 3-ton is $9,000 and a 7.5-ton is $18,000. And I called Tim Corcoran, and I thought he told me this when we replaced these before. The rule is kinda, if they're over 10 years old, buy new units. And one of them's 12 and one of them's 15 years old. He says, because if you're putting that much money in
Right.
the thing, you don't know what else is going to happen to them units.
And the whole unit will probably be more efficient than the older unit anyway, so.
That's only heat, right?
What?
That's only heat?
Yes.
They're not combination?
They are, they do cool, but we don't have any cooling it seemed like we don't, well, this one here, the capacitor went out and the belt needed to be replaced on this in the kitchen earlier but he said that's normal stuff. But he said the rule is 10, you get 10 years out of one, replace it.
Okay, so $27,000 gets the job done for new.
That's what they said.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's to the penny or not, but
Well, that's gonna be a round
he
figure.
I was thinking that our meeting was last Monday, so I only gave him a half a day to give me a price. And I was trying to figure out why I always thought that the meeting was on the 7th, but somebody told me it was on a sign there. At the firehouse sign had it
Oh, really?
the 7th.
I saw it.
We
was
wanted you to
14th.
come a week early.
I was coming. Gene said,
All right, so we're gonna have to get some heat in this building, otherwise.
Yeah, so, I don't know exact, he just quoted them.
Right, round figures.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go with a round figure also and go
Yeah.
with 27,000. I'll move that we appropriate 27,000 to replace the heat exchangers with new units.
I'll second it. Roll call.
So just to clarify, I would recommend that your motion be to approve the expenditure. The appropriation comes in the form of a resolution, which I don't have prepared at this time. But what we could do is we could, if it happens that out of general funds we need supplemental appropriation, I can prepare that for the next meeting. But in the meantime, you would have approval from tonight to go ahead and, make the purchase or
Sure.
enter the contract,
Okay.
get the work done.
I was gonna ask if there was money in the budget for that.
Well, it's general fund, and we have the ability to move funds that have been appropriated but not yet expensed, as long as they're within the same fund. And because of the fact that it's general fund, there may be some flexibility in there from other accounts that maybe we haven't used yet. And I'll have to look at that more closely. But and And if that is the case, it's a pretty simple transfer into the like improvement of facilities line item. We'll have to take a closer look at it. The important thing for tonight is the approval of the expenditure. So I think I have a motion to approve expenditure of up to $27,000. Is that right?
Yes. Dennis made it. I
For
seconded
the
it.
2 units. Second by Mr. Lohman. Okay. Mr. Lohman?
Yes.
Mr. Hyab?
Yes.
Be cheaper to buy coats, wouldn't it?
Have a coat drive,
And blankets.
just have a coat drive.
Yeah.
And if you hold on just a second, I'll take a look at it as well, because I know that
There's
a
money in
couple
the
of you guys are
building,
already
The
peeking.
general fund in the buildings that we're using for the firehouse, so we have excess funds there for the firehouse.
What about the capital outlay? Last one on the, oh, I'm on the wrong one, sorry. Forget that. Wrong fund. Down a page.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it depends on how you look at it, because, I mean, there's a lot of funds in the capital section for buildings because of the firehouse. You know, and a lot of that hasn't actually expensed yet.
Right.
I mean, our timeline is suffering right now on the firehouse. The reality is there's going to be rollover of a lot of those funds into next year's budget, and you know what that means is that there already is appropriations for our buildings, and you know what I'll probably ask Brian to do is, or I'll do is make the purchase order actually come out of. Now I'll look at it. I'm not sure which would be more appropriate, actually, equipment, improvement of sites, or buildings. I mean, it's a fixture on the building. So we might just do it right out of there. I have to look at what's most appropriate, but the money's there.
Anything else, Jim?
What?
You got anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Thought I was done.
Fire, EMS, Chief Davis is not here tonight. Do you want to read it?
Sure. September run totals were 36, EMS details 37, fire details 73 for the total. We held our yearly fire extinguisher training class for the staff at Crosby Elementary School. Atlantic Emergency Solutions came in to work on some minor adjustments to the new fire engine. They will also be updating the computer system later this month on that engine. As far as the fire and EMS runs, on fire, Ross had 3 received, Harrison 21 given, Coleraine 1 received, Whitewater 3 received, Harrison 1 received. On EMS, Harrison 8 were given, and Whitewater 1 was given. That's pretty much it.
All right. Brenda, Community Coordinator.
Good evening. I'm going to start out by just saying October is a busy month, and it has been busy so far. Our senior club meeting was October 1st. Approximately 40 members showed up and enjoyed Jim's Grilled Mets and hot dogs. We kind of thought of it as Oktoberfest, along with their delicious sides and desserts. We congratulate newly elected President Ron Beecher and re-elected Secretary Nelda Hopkins. Our guest speaker was local resident Janice McElroy, who presented an interesting account of the McElroy family legacy of ventriloquism that has its roots right here at Harrison. It was quite interesting. After learning the history, we took a field trip on the following Tuesday, October 8th, to the world's only ventriloquism museum called Vent Haven, and it's in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. It was pretty amazing. There were well over, I think it was something like 1,700 that they have there, and they had a lot of them on display. At any rate, that was after 23 of us had a delicious lunch at the Greyhound Tavern, located in Fort Mitchell also. In September, 28 members enjoyed dinner with friends, which took place at the Reservation Restaurant in Milan, Indiana. This month, we will be going to Willie's Restaurant at Hidden Valley Lake on Thursday, October 24th, meeting at 5 p.m. there, and we're currently taking reservations. Our regular program in the senior club has seniors starting out on Tuesdays with Wii Bowling at 10, Wednesdays Card Club at 10, Thursdays Chair Volleyball at 10. This coming Thursday, October 17 and 18, we're pretty excited. We've got a group of 16 people who are traveling to Parkersburg, West Virginia, for an adventure to the Blennerhassett Hotel and Island that's in the middle of the Ohio River. The 2-day fall getaway is hopefully complete. Everybody's hoping to see fall colors, and I think with another few days, maybe we will really get a real treat. So I'm looking forward to that. Some miscellaneous things. In an attempt to replenish some of the items in our kitchen, we're going to host a kitchen shower for fun with the senior members. I haven't announced it yet, but we want to go through the cabinets and make a wish list for gently used items and kitchen utensils, as we usually can use multiple items of the same thing just to serve our guests when we have them. So we're going to beef that up a little bit. The community yoga classes are on Tuesdays for everyone from 6 to 7 p.m. And the Crosby Cafe is always on the third Wednesday of the month. We will be meeting October 16th from 7 to 9 p.m. And this is a real fun, free live music event for everyone in the community. Just want to share the outdoor shelter concerts were great despite some bad weather. We look forward to planning the use of the shelter for the months ahead and even scheduling different types of activities in the future for next year. Special entertainment is already planned for the rest of this year from our Creative Aging Grant, and these are the ones we have locked in so far. Our November senior meeting will be, we will have the husband and wife duo of Sally and Joe Lukasik, who play instruments and vocals after our meeting. Our Christmas luncheon, December 3rd, will be very entertaining with the College Conservatory Professor Emeritus jazz pianist Phil DeGreg. We're also going to present to Crosby Township and Friends a Celtic Christmas concert with a group that we really enjoyed last year called Foley Road, and that will be on a Friday night, December 6th, here at 7 p.m. And we will put that out on the, the signs in the community so folks will get to know about it. We are also working on scheduling a few other performers in that time frame, but it's not all nailed down yet. It's not confirmed. Remember, everybody, the community center is the polling location for township residents to vote on Election Day. That's November the 5th. The polls will be open from 6:30 to 7:30 on Election Day. It's getting to be that time again. The Christmas benefit for Santa to help Crosby children and their families, which is called the Kringle Chest, is drawing near. This benefit is in its 18th year. It's a community effort that we organize and pull together. It begins by the Crosby School Counselor vetting families who apply for assistance at Christmas through the school. At the same time, we will be sending out letters seeking donations for the children and their families to receive Christmas gifts, food, and other items that are donated. As those donations are being received, we will be organizing an army of shoppers from our community who receive the Christmas list from the school counselor and begin the process of assisting Santa Claus. This year, we will pull it all together by setting December 2nd as the toys and gifts drop-off date. There will be a lot of organization going on, culminating in a wrapping party where the community can come and volunteer and wrap lots and lots of presents on Friday, December 13th. This is a special night of wrapping Christmas goodies and fun for all to bless the children of Crosby on Christmas morning. The parents are scheduled for the next day, December 14th, to pick up their family's gifts. Last year, 64 Crosby children received multiple gifts from Santa, and they represented 24 families in our township. With this year's inflation, I would expect those numbers to increase. One of the major donors of this benefit is the Nutrient Company here in Crosby Township, and I'll be working on a grant for their support this month, and we always appreciate certainly every business and individual who helps make all of this possible. I have been working also with Evan Eli, who is the assistant location manager for a movie production company who will be filming a movie in part in Crosby Township. A lot of the scenes will be in New Baltimore and on Willie Road. The filming is scheduled to begin on November 7th at this point, and I'll keep you posted about the title and the time it will be completed, which I don't really know yet. The only other thing I would add is I attached from our computer website October, November, and December's calendars, just to show you that there are a lot of different things going on around here. A lot of people are reserving things, and just kind of keeps you abreast of 3 months in advance. I think that's it.
Anything for Brenda? Thank you.
She stays busy, I'll give her that much.
Fiscal Officer Matt.
Okay, written report was submitted. We got an email just today that the draft of the audit that's been in progress forever is finally completed, and has been submitted to supervisors within the Attorney General's office for the Southwest region. So I would note, and I'll probably state in more detail next month, but I would note that this audit for 2020, 2021, no, let me state it this way. The audit and results and findings that we received for 2018 and 2019 was completed and given to us after the completion of the time frame for this current audit. So what that means is we had nothing from any auditor to be able to correct. And so, you know, when this one comes out, there are, you know, we did our best to anticipate and, you know, gradually reform and change things during that time frame, but we never had the official findings from the previous audit to even work with. And quite frankly, when we get the results back from this one, it's taken so long and it started so late that the next time frame that we're talking about is 2022 and 2023 will be audited for, and it's getting towards the end of 2024. So, I mean, it's been a year, and this isn't even the contractor auditor. This is in-house at the Attorney General's office. So, or I'm sorry, at the Ohio Auditor's office. So, you know, we're doing everything we can, and you know, we're just, I don't know, we're doing everything we can. We have there was a memo, an updated kind of memo distributed regarding budget process. Just to summarize some of it, in case anybody didn't see it, for the budget process, we have the special meeting scheduled on for planning and organization for the 2024 budget on November 4th. And we would like to have any, you know, capital requests, budgets for things like, you know, concerts, dinners, salary increases, staffing levels, anything that would influence the budget. We're hoping to have that by October 28th in the financial office, just so that so we can have some numbers that we can work with on November 4th at the planning and organizational meeting. So, you know, if any of the people in charge of the departments, if you would like to see changes in staffing levels, raises, stuff like that, this is the time to come with that and come with your suggestions and all of that kind of thing. Because then what's going to happen is we'll present based upon what happens at the planning and organizational meeting. If that goes well and there's consensus amongst the trustees about what direction they want to go, you know, we would be able to present a draft of kind of like a finalized budget at the November meeting, regular meeting. And we would be able to present really ultimately on December 9th at the regular meeting, the trustees would be able to approve the final budget for 2025. And that will enable us to kind of be off on a great foot going into 2025. But that's kind of listed there. Some different things on that memo is just some things that we know just from talking to different people in charge of the departments that they may be looking for. It's not like a request from us or anything like that, but there's different capital budget type of issues, non-capital issues, maybe some regular things that basically, as we hear about them, as Brian hears about them, put them on there really for your consideration. So we're kind of in a budget building phase at this point. There's a check for Fort Scott repairs. It's been sent to the county engineers, so that's a good thing. Brian will be at training, fiscal office training on October 16th, and that's in Dayton. And then also, Mr. Carter, he will be off on October 23rd, just so you're aware, for a minor surgery that is planned to only keep him out on that day. And I would like to request an executive session, if it please the trustees, to discuss personnel issues at the appropriate time. That's all I have, I think, unless any questions from the trustees.
I have a quick question. Could I get another copy? I don't remember getting a memo.
Send one out tomorrow morning to all the department heads.
Oh, okay. I thought I missed it. Okay.
I just gave it to the trustees for their approval, and I'll send it out to everybody tomorrow.
All right.
Zoning, Rick?
We only had issued 2 zoning certificates last month, and that was for 2 new homes and in the Fort Scott subdivision, and that's really all I have. Questions?
Can you update us on the Great Parks? Have you learned anything new?
From
There was an issue with the fire department and
I was approached by our fire department here in Crosby Township. The lieutenant is doing a review of the Great Parks project that they're doing over here on New Haven Road, and he was going to have a meeting last Thursday with the chief building official from Hamilton County, from the building department, and they wanted to discuss Great Parks project, and it had to do, well, the fire department's come up with a long list of safety concerns that they want changed with the project, and apparently the building department has got some problems with the plans also. So those two had a meeting. Thursday night, Lieutenant gave me a call, let me know what's going on, and the Hamilton County Building Department had an appointment to see a judge Friday. I don't know what the outcome of that meeting was, so that's where it's at. So apparently the building department's got a problem also with the parks.
today was the holiday, so
Yeah, there would have been nothing.
I was intending on trying to call down there, but you couldn't because nobody was there on Monday, so I'm going to try. Let me ask you, the other question, you had an application for variances on some signs too from Great Parks.
Correct. Great Parks came in and they wanted a zoning permit from the township, which is normally what they do. And according to our zoning, anything that goes into the park has to go in front of the BZA and the zoning commission. So we had a public hearing for the zoning commission, and it was attended by the public, and there was a list of concerns that the public had concerning the project. Mostly it's from the residents that lived across the street. It had to do with parking, lighting, hours of operation, and so on. So the zoning commission was then going to give that information, they have a list of recommendations that they were going to give to the BZA, but we never got to that point because the attorney for Great Parks more or less said we can do whatever we want. There's a Ohio Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is.
No, we talked about that earlier, but while that was percolating, wasn't there also an application by some sign company for variances?
Correct. The park is putting in 2 to 3 new signs throughout their park area. They're redoing the signs that they have. And 2 of the signs are 14 foot high. Our regulations say 6 foot high. So the sign company's doing this. They want to go in front of the BZA to get a variance. I've stopped that right now because I don't know what Great Parks wants to do. I don't want to go through the legwork of doing something that's going to be canceled out. So right now, I don't know if the sign company knows what's going on with Great Parks either.
I have written to the attorney for Great Parks about both issues.
Okay.
The issue of some dispute between the building department and Great Parks, and I had asked her earlier about the requests you had about the signs. I haven't heard back from her yet.
Okay.
On either of those.
So right now, the sign applications they've gave me their application plus a fee, and we were about to advertise for it, but I just put a halt on it until we get an answer from Great Parks.
Okay. Well, I hope to get an answer from her this week, and I'll be in touch with you over that.
But they had asked me after the zoning commission meeting, we had a private meeting with Great Parks here with the zoning commission, me, representatives from Great Parks, their attorney, and then Alan was there.
And Doug.
Oh, I'm sorry. And they came back with a memorandum or basically saying this is what you wanted and this is what we're not going to do.
They called it a letter of intent, I think, was the term they used.
If you want to see that, I have a copy of it.
Yeah.
But that's where it stands right now. I know they're proceeding with their project, but they have no building permit.
If you could, I'd like to, if you could stick that in my mailbox, their letter of intent, so that the trustees would be current on what's cooking on that end of the deal.
I'll make some copies tonight and put them in your mailboxes.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.
Have you anything to add, Alan?
No, but I know this gentleman was here to he wanted to get an update on what's been going on. That's why I was kind of quizzing you about, and I don't know, Mr. Waller, do you have any additional questions?
No, I guess that answers.
Was that clear enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not clear to us yet, as you can tell.
You got some things that got to be ironed out legally, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Old business, me, just that I got in touch with the Pro Alert, so I signed the contracts for that, and then Johnson Controls has a new rep. His name's Jeff Lucan. That after not being able to get a hold of the old one, then I think Brenda found out that they have this new guy, so he sent the papers that we signed to stop the service in this building. We're still going to have them in the maintenance building, so we have a 2 more years on their contract. So that's all in the works, and that's all I have.
Doug, if you're going to get a new system in here, right, can you have them have it to where set it up that when we do switch the maintenance building to the new company, that these buildings will be connected?
Probably at that time we could. So are they totally separate now?
Yeah.
I mean, basically we can't do anything there right now.
They said when we built the building, they couldn't do it, but there's got to be a way.
Well, it's wireless now, I know,
Yeah.
because we should be able to cancel a landline because we have a landline that old system is hooked into. So I don't know if that's something you have to dig into your phone bill.
I think he's just saying, just make sure they understand that that's coming too, in case it matters, like
Well,
what
yeah, I told him
equipment and
that.
stuff they
Yeah,
use.
What equipment you
I
use.
mean, if
so
they're
they'll-
aware of it, then it
so
should be
they don't
fine.
say, well, you gotta pull a whole new system in, because we can't hook that building up.
Right.
If you make them aware of it, we'll hook this building up too.
Okay. I will let him know that.
Alright.
But there should, I don't know if you can find in your, he said we have phone line just for that system, so that's something you can probably cancel, like a landline. 'Cause he says you don't need that anymore with your Johnson Control in this building.
If
Unless
we,
you need it in your building, I don't know.
if we do, that's new within the last couple years. I actually, within my kind of brief time here, I had issues where I would be on the phone and it would get like totally cut off because of the stupid system on the fritz and like interrupting phone and stuff. It was bizarre and extremely backward, and I was surprised it was actually hooked up that way. But
So then maybe it's in the main phone line?
yeah.
May I suggest something? I would think we probably should have somebody out, say from Alta Fiber, because I was never aware that it ever interrupted the 1440 phone. However, I understood it to be a problem between our fax line, like it was shared fax line, Johnson Control line, shared the same one, because our fax was never the same after Johnson Control worked with it. So I think we need to if you want to really check it out, we should have someone come in and tell us exactly what line it is, what it represents, and the whole 9 yards. Because I saw problems with fax line, which is a whole different phone number, than our 1440. So that's what I would probably suggest needs to happen if you want to check it out.
After the new systems,
Mhm.
yeah. Maybe you won't have the problems anymore.
That's true. We might have that line back.
Yeah, because it's wireless, so.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Dennis?
I have none.
Mr. Heiss has nothing. New business, I have none. Dennis?
I have none.
Mr. Heiss has none. Other concerns?
Move we go into executive session.
Second. Roll call.
And that's at 8:58. Is that accurate?
7:59.
Or, I'm sorry, 7.
8 o'clock.
7.
8 o'clock.
7:58. 8 o'clock. Lohman,
Yes.
Hyam.
Yes.
Okay.
Alan, can you go into the executive?
We're going back on record at 8:40. I make a motion, or our next regular business meeting will be November 11th, 2024 at 7 p.m. We're having a special meeting on November 4th at 7 p.m. And I make a
Move that we adjourn.
I second it. Roll call.
Lohman,
Yes.
Hyam.
Yes.
8:40. We did it in less than a minute.